to Marketing Matters. I'm Peter Applebaum. This week, we're doing something a little different. We're going to look back at some of the case studies from previous episodes. Did you know that 78% of small to medium Australian businesses say that they struggle with winning and keeping customers? In this first segment, we look at how two very different businesses tackle this challenge. T from Greenline Financial Services is very focused on developing opportunities in his local area. Let's look at how he does it. T.
Peter, how you going?
All right, how are you going?
Very good, thank you.
A Mustang.
Yes.
What a fantastic car.
Thank you very much. You know what? One of the benefits of working from home, I get to look at it all day.
Fantastic.
How good's that?
So everyone who works from home gets a yellow Mustang, is that right?
Eventually they will get the yellow
If they really
Mustang,
want
yeah.
it.
Of course, yeah. If they work hard enough, that's the truth, yeah.
So tell us, how did you start it and how are you going about it?
Well, first of all, it takes a lot of hard work to start, and then it takes a lot of motivation and dedication to keep it going. So it's not an easy thing, but it is enjoyable to work from your own home, definitely.
And from a marketing point of view, do you find that clients are concerned that you work from home, you're not big enough, you can't meet their needs?
Well, I feel like the online presence, along with the profiles and reviews and good conversations and relationship with the clients, overcomes that. So sometimes, but you can easily overcome it.
And you've tried a lot of different marketing strategies. Tell us about some of those that haven't worked as successfully.
Look, everything from online to pamphlets to posters to email campaigns. I guess it all depends on how big your budget is and your target market.
So how did you decide what you would do? Was it a trial and error thing?
It definitely was a trial and error, and it was when we were starting up, we had a smaller budget, so we could try with less. As we grew, we can try with more and more, and then we can find out exactly what works for us.
So your background was that you started with a larger organisation, you had 100 employees you were looking after.
Yep.
What made you make the decision? Did you spot a gap in the market?
Well, I just figured out that to really achieve all my dreams, I needed to have my own company, my own client base, because you'll never grow the same as working for someone else, which most people want to have their own business for that reason.
There's roughly 18 to 20,000 financial planners in Australia. I know you do mortgage broking as well, but why should I find Greenline and why should I work with you?
Well, look, we're not the biggest, we don't have the biggest presence, but we do get to know our clients the most. So we build a really good relationship, we try and help them, and we look out always for our clients' best interests, and that's the main thing that gets our clients on board and gets them to refer their friends and family with Greenline.
Realistically, everyone's going to say that.
Yeah. So
why should I trust you? I've never heard of you. Firstly, how am I going to find you? You mentioned reviews, so they're very important to you, and referrals. How am I going to find you? And once I find you, what happens then?
Well, look, all you need to do is search your local mortgage broker in most suburbs in Sydney to find Greenline. Then you click on Greenline and look at all the reviews. There's a good probably half a dozen websites with 15 or 20 reviews, and I think that shows you the experience that our clients have had with us. Further to that, you're always more than welcome to talk to a handful of my clients. They volunteer because they've experienced the benefit that we provide for them.
So I often say one of the great advantages that a lot of organisations have is that their competitors are not doing digital marketing particularly well. Do you find that's the case with you?
Yeah, look, digital marketing is not easy. You have to have all the right information, and the thing I think that my competitors aren't doing is they're not updating and staying relevant to the market. And that's one thing that I'll make sure that we always update the information and we're relevant to today's information.
Well, let me ask you, what does that mean? You stay updated and relevant. Is that from a social media point of view? You do your blog posts? What does that mean?
Well, I just mean that the banks, the financial institutions are forever changing their rates and their products. And if you haven't updated your information, your blogs, your posts in 2 months, then it's not really relevant to the clients you're going to attract today. Right. If that makes sense. Come on in, Peter. This is our team. We've got a beautiful Greenline office. Right. As you can see, this is where we make all our clients feel welcome, comfortable. This is where we help them all out. You can see we have a bit of a passion for cars. And it's one thing that we do as well when we get our clients come through with little kids, we give them a little toy so they remember coming to the office. It's like going to the doctors and they give you a lollipop.
Right.
You know
so the next generation of car lovers.
The next generation of car lovers, of course.
T, you've got your own specific marketing mantra. Yeah. What are some of briefly, what are some of the things that you believe in and you stick to that have made you successful?
After trialing a whole bunch of methods, I think one of the things I believe in is using professionals is really important. They have their knowledge, their expertise, they're able to help. Another thing is getting your clients to look and give you some reviews online, because that's what's going to help you grow your name and get some more clients in the future.
So reviews on Yellow Pages, on Google?
Yeah, on a bunch of stuff, on Google, Yellow Pages, Facebook, product review, True Local. I guess the more profiles you have out there, the better it is it's going to be for you.
Right.
Essentially, people Google you when they find, I want to use a mortgage broker, they find Greenline, they Google it. Then there's a whole bunch of pages. If you've got bad reviews or no reviews, they're not likely to give you a call. But if you've got plenty of good reviews, you've just gained a client there as well.
Next, we speak to Michelle Milkovich from Lovefish Restaurant in Sydney's Barangaroo. She discussed how she kept her loyal customers even after moving her restaurant from a different suburb. Your local family restaurant is always full and your patrons love it, but it's not big enough or centrally located. That's why husband and wife duo Michael and Michelle opened Lovefish, an upmarket seafood restaurant in Barangaroo with 4 times the capacity of their original suburban eatery. But with the move came a number of challenges. How do you create the same customer loyalty? How do you ensure that the dining experience is as good, if not better? Let's find out how they did it. Looks delicious, Michelle. And your whole restaurant looks fantastic. So we know that the eating out industry in Australia is vast. I think it's $45 billion is spent per year. There's 85,000 places to eat, and there's 22,000 restaurants in Australia.
Yep.
So what gave you the courage and what gave you the focus to actually make the plunge to start this beautiful restaurant, which in itself has about 50 other competitors around this area?
That's correct. I think what's really important is that you come up with a really great product. And then you believe in your product, and you have a really strong ethos and core values around your business model, and then really the consistency in delivering that product. So for us, it was seeing a unique gap in the market and understanding our local community at the time that was Roselle, and understanding too that this was something that we were looking for as a family, and then having the belief that others would be looking for that too. I think one of the biggest transitions for us coming from Roselle to here was coming from a 50-seater to a 200 was that I wasn't able to personally greet every guest that came to the door. So it was having the faith to pass on those skills and really training through staff so that they were able to also be the face of the business for me and understand the core values that help create our brand to be what it is today. So we have an amazing online booking system. It enables us to track the way that people dine, that our regulars dine. We're able to make notes in there and put down their preferences for seating, their favourite wine, when their birthday is, the names of their children. So it enables us to create a profile for a customer that perhaps before I would retain myself, but now whenever they book and they show up, all the information is there for my staff.
The guests have had a wonderful experience here, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. How do you ensure that those people keep coming back?
That is absolutely the challenge, there's no doubt about it. In upscaling a business to this size, it is a huge challenge for us. So we just go back to our core values, trying to maintain quality, consistency of service, making every customer feel special, regardless of whether they're a passing tourist or a long-time regular.
But doesn't every restaurant say the same thing? Why is Lovefish different?
I think because we started from such a locally based community restaurant, that really was our foundation for success. Without customer loyalty, Lovefish would not be here today. That's really what drove our brand, and I think the organic word of mouth, that I think we understand the importance of it rather than going straight into a site of this size.
I'm a big believer in the fact that you can tell a lot about an organisation when things go wrong.
Yes.
As a restaurateur, you obviously have people who are not always going to be thrilled with the service. What do you do with someone who's complaining or is not happy with the experience?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is to train your staff to pick up on this before they leave the restaurant. Right. Customer retention is a really, really important part of our business.
Customer acquisition is the sexy part.
Absolutely.
Retention's where you get rich.
Absolutely, and that's also the most difficult part. So the staff are trained to be able to understand when perhaps the guest experience has not been to the expectation that we would have, and to notify your manager and get in there straight away. I love being on the floor. I'm on the floor as often as possible, and I will be the first person to go to a table, introduce myself and say hi, and ask them how we could have made their experience better.
And people obviously appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think there's always a difference, particularly in a venue this size. There's always a difference when you go over and explain that you're the business owner and that you're genuinely concerned about their...
that you care.
That you care, and that you're there to make sure that they've enjoyed their restaurant experience. There's nothing I love more on a really busy night to come down and I go out to all the tables and ask how they're enjoying their experiences.
Which is not something that most people would experience from the restaurant owner, unless it's a very small restaurant, as you say.
That's right. Yes, I think in a small restaurant environment, people expect the owner to be there. Yes, of course, in these larger destination areas. But that's one of the things that attracted us to Barangaroo is the rate of owner occupiers here and the real sense of community, and the fact that we may be in this amazing tourist precinct, and it's a real destination with beautiful sparkling water, but actually that sense of family and the sense of customer is still there.
Okay, so what are some of the key marketing activities that you undertake to really spread the word?
Yes, no, that's really interesting. So for us here, one of the things that we had to really work on was our strategic targeting for marketing when we arrived. We have a really diverse range here of customer base. So we can have, as you know, we're in the financial district, so we have a lot of corporates. We also have a large number of tourists. We have local families. We really have a huge diverse range. It's being really targeted with your marketing. So it's maintaining your local customers will always be your core clientele. So it's keeping the same ethos from Rozelle, retaining those customers, and then using marketing strategy to attract the other areas. It's definitely been a challenge, there's no doubt about it.
After the break, 2 more Marketing Matters case studies. Welcome back. Now we look at 2 important areas for business owners and managers: building your brand and the power of relationships. We visit Suzette Cassie from Dermalogica as she discussed how she built the Dermalogical brand in Australia and its importance to the success of the business. Tell us a little bit about Dermalogica.
Yeah, so Dermalogica is a skincare company. It's what we call a professional brand, so it's sold through a professional channel, being beauty salons, somebody that is qualified as a skincare therapist. And it's a subsidiary here in Australia of the American parent, so it's manufactured, and we import and distribute it here through various channels.
Okay, very strong brand, and that's the advantage you have. There are a lot of people watching this show who may not have such a strong brand. What would you say to them about the need to build a brand versus look after cash flow?
Yeah, I guess it would differ from company to company. In our case, because we are a subsidiary of a parent company, we had a little bit more luxury in that we were well funded to start with. So it wasn't as critical to be able to make some money in those first, say, year or so. But certainly, the most critical thing for us was building that brand awareness. And for many years, people said, what's this Dermatologica? So it took a
rogue T.
The rogue T came into it. So the first thing we did really was appoint a PR company. That was very critical to us. There are obviously a lot of other brands around, and we had to establish why our brand was unique, what it was that was different about us, get that credibility behind us. So that was our first step, and that proved to be really, really successful to get the press on board.
So PR has been was a very successful strategy for you in the early days. Are you still a big believer in PR?
Absolutely. Obviously things have changed and evolved. We're now in the digital age, whereas back 23 years ago, it really was the media, the magazines, the newspapers, the beauty editors, and we really had to get them on board. And I think we had a little bit of luck on our side. We arrived in this country with a market that probably wasn't very well, let me spell that, in a market that wasn't crowded with too many brands. So to make our mark as a new contemporary American brand, that was really what we wanted to do. There were a lot of European brands around at that time, So it was critical that we establish our uniqueness. And I think that's the critical thing, is to try and establish what it is about your brand that is different to so many other brands. Everyone's making very similar claims, everyone's got similar name products, they're available in similar channels. So what is it about your brand that is completely different? And that's really what we had to create. So our background is very much about education. We always say we're an education company that happens to sell a skincare brand. And
that's an unusual positioning.
Yeah, it was. The founder of our business, she believed very much in really upping the levels, I guess, of education of the skincare therapist.
Right.
Many decades ago, you went to your beauty therapist to go and sort of be pampered and have the beauty treatment. And I think she really felt strongly about moving away from that to make it more about skin health, and having the healthiest and best skin you can have, not about beauty.
Yep.
So she had established so much education around the skincare therapist.
Right.
So that's really how we established ourselves here. We had a range of different classes we could offer the skincare therapist. Oh, and we happen to have this brand called Dermalogica as well.
Right. So what was the most important aspect in building the Dermalogica brand? Was it building those personal relationships with the B2B skincare clinics, or consumer advertising and marketing?
Certainly initially it was developing those relationships. The industry we're in is a very personal industry. It's about establishing that rapport with your clients. Our stockists have their own clients that they look after. So getting those relationships right and being true to that was way more important initially than investing in that consumer advertising.
But that came later, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely, that came later. We wanted to establish the brand, and we mentioned through PR. And then it really became a word of mouth. So we used our skincare therapists in our salons to really be our ambassadors or our advocates for the brand after that.
What have been the most effective brand initiatives that have worked to build the Dermalogica brand?
I think the important thing is that we innovate all the time. So we had a great stable of products to launch with, but constantly we are innovating those products. So every year we would launch 3 new products depending on what the ingredients that we now are able to source. And we introduced something called face mapping, which is where the face is sort of divided into sections, and we analyze each one of those sections to be able to read what is going on underneath the skin. So that in turn built our credibility as a skincare brand that delivers the education, that delivers the results. It's not just about what's happening on the surface of the skin, but how are the hormones or your diet influencing what's happening on the outside of your skin.
And was that unique to Dermalogica?
Absolutely. So we've trademarked that concept, and it's something that is absolutely crucial to all the treatments that we teach our stockists about.
Ryan and the team from Empower Construction are experts in lightweight cladding. Their business success tip is to focus on building and maintaining relationships. Ryan, g'day.
Hey, how are you?
All right. I thought I was coming here to do some personal training, but I hear you don't do that anymore.
No, I gave that up a while ago.
So Ryan,
Yes.
elevator pitch, 60 seconds or less. Tell us about Empower Construction.
So we're a lightweight cladding company.
Yep.
Cladding being we install new products on residential, double-story, single-story homes on the outside, and we project manage the whole process. So basically, once a frame and the roof is on, we take care of the whole outside.
And tell me, what are the things that have made you successful? Because I know you've got many competitors who haven't grown nearly as quickly as you. What are the marketing things that you've done and are doing that have worked for you?
A lot of it has been word of mouth. A lot of our marketing that we have done in the past have been word of mouth and pushing our brand a lot. Our brand has been one of the biggest things that we focus on, our quality, our speed, and then people really embodying the brand. Everyone's in uniforms, we've got signage on our utes and cars, and then I guess a lot of presence on social media, which a lot of construction companies haven't done in the past.
So Ryan,
Yes.
you've won all these awards.
Yes.
BRW, you just a few months ago you won the Optus My Business Young Business Leader of the Year.
Yes.
This is an impressive
It is.
number of awards you have.
Yeah, not just me, the company on a whole.
Yeah.
I guess it's really validated what we are and what we stand for. I mean, we've been recognised in our industry, in the construction industry, as well as by other companies in our staff. But to be recognised by an external company, being Optus, and as a young business leader, and a few other awards that we've had with them, it really validates who we are as a company and helps us stand amongst every type of business, not just construction industry. I guess as a business on a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
But as I say, you can't bank awareness. How have you leveraged these awards and the recognition that it's brought you into more contracts, more business, more profits?
When I get to sit down with other CEOs and other owners of different companies, having someone else who's recognised the company, recognition does turn into dollars and value afterwards, because they can see that we're reputable, they can see that we've been around for a while, and without us telling them their story, there's someone else who's now told our story, and with that it actually helps us, and they'll want us on board. It also helps them in their marketing. It's a brand recognition for them as well. When you've got a supplier, another company or a builder standing together, three strong brands, who wouldn't want to purchase a home or work with all three?
After the break, the Marketing Tech segment. Welcome back. In this week's Marketing Tech segment, we discuss whether you really need a website. Here to talk through your options is your host, Susan Werkner.
50% of Australian small businesses don't have a website. If you're one of them, you're missing out on major sales opportunities. Think of your own behaviour. What's the first thing you do when you want to find a new product or service? You go online and look for it. Research shows that a staggering 2/3 of consumers would not consider using your business if they can't find you online. Why? The answer is trust. With privacy threats and those pesky Nigerians sending us spam emails, consumers are wary of businesses that are not transparent. They want to see photos of your team, what services or products you offer, where you are located, and importantly, how can they contact you? This builds trust no matter what type of business you own. Over 14 million Australians regularly use the internet, and over 90% of them have either purchased from or contacted companies online. If you're time poor and think cost is a barrier, think again. With new digital businesses such as Wix.com and Weebly, you can have your own website up in a matter of hours. They provide easy-to-use free website templates. You don't need to be a coding geek to ensure that your business looks professional. You can even get a free website when you buy your own domain name, like happykids.com.au from companies like GoDaddy and Crazy Domains. Yes, being active on social media is good, but having your own website is better. You own your website. What you don't own are your Facebook or Instagram accounts. So with all these reasons to create your own website, what are you waiting for?
Thank you, Susan. That's all for now. Don't forget that we'd love to hear from you. Give us your comments, suggestions and questions on Facebook at Marketing Matters TV or via the website at marketingmatterstv.com. Thanks for watching Marketing Matters, and we look forward to seeing you next week.